something I cannot believe we haven't spoken about yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you know the results. The New Zealand flag referendum.
I actually don't know the results.
There were supposed to be 4, but there were 5 candidates that all went head-to-head in New Zealand.
Right.
And whichever one of these wins, it goes against the existing New Zealand flag. So this is not yet a new New Zealand flag. What this is the decider of who is going to be the contender to go up against the Old Faithful. So we had Red Peak, we had the psychedelic spirally Koru design that Grey favours.
Mm-hmm.
We had a pretty lame attempt at a silver fern, which was the closest to what I think it should have been. And then we had, bizarrely, these 2 other flags that were sort of a hybrid of a fern and the existing New Zealand flag. And the only difference between them was a very slight change to the colour palette in the top left corner.
Right. So those I thought of as the committee design flags.
Yeah.
Let's have a fern, let's have the star pattern, and let's give people an option over the colors. Those are the committee options.
Exactly. Before I tell you the numbers and how the voting went, I think you need to see the winner.
Huh. I am not surprised.
And what's interesting, Gray, because obviously they kept distributing preferences until one flag got over 50% of the vote,
as
we did.
As all good flag referendums should.
And what's interesting is that the eventual winner, which I will call Black Corner, was actually trailing Red Corner for the first 2 rounds. And on the 3rd round, it was practically neck and neck. And then Black Corner won on the final iteration, the final distribution.
All right, so a couple thoughts here. I am not surprised that my favorite design, the Koru Spiral, came in last.
Right.
I'm not surprised by that. I wouldn't have thought, that's going to be a massive winner for people. I am surprised that the Red Corner flag got the first preference. That was, if this was a first past the post election, that one would have won. That one is unambiguously the worst. I think that one is awful. It just reminds me of the National Baseball League in America. It was
really a 2-horse race. Even Red Peak, with its sort of groundswell of support, came a distant third.
Yeah, it was really between the 2 committee designs, and by far. So I guess the final thing, Brady, if you were voting in the flag referendum, would you vote for the new flag over the New Zealand flag?
If I was voting, my gut says no. I would stick with what they have, but not strongly. I'm probably 60-40 on that. I'm assuming you would change because you think change is crucial.
No, I don't think change is crucial. I just think that the current New Zealand flag is terrible.
I meant change is crucial in this case, not change is crucial at all times.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You're making a blanket statement. You can change, and then you can change again later if you want. Right, like you're never locked into something forever. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good.
Oh,
I would definitely vote for the Silver Fern flag as its official name, Black Corner, over the current New Zealand flag. However, I'll make a prediction now that the new flag loses in the Super Bowl, that the current New Zealand flag wins the head-to-head race.
I don't really know the temperature in New Zealand well enough to know to make a prediction like that. But I feel like
I'm over there with the dipstick every day, Brady. I'm reading the polls. I'm tracking all the numbers.
You didn't even know what flag it was until 10 minutes ago.
I'm doing vox pops on the street. I want to know what the average man, what the average sheep thinks of this referendum.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Like if this is, this is Vegas and we're putting money on the table, like what are you going to bet on?
I feel like New Zealand can be quite progressive sometimes. I feel like they're the sort of country, they've led the way a few times in sort of social change. So I can imagine them. It's a better chance than if this was happening in Australia, for example, or the UK, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, but the UK doesn't need to change its flag because it's great.
We now have the final result of the Super Bowl, the flags.
Yes.
The New Zealand flag referendum. So the ham-fisted, poorly designed, crazily chosen fern flag that won the sort of...
What do you really think about it, Brady?
That flag was pitted up against the traditional existing New Zealand flag,
right,
to decide, are they going to go for something new, or are they going to stick with what they've had for years with the Union Jack on it? And the people of New Zealand had the choice, and the people of New Zealand have spoken.
The current New Zealand flag won 56.6% to 43.2%. So New Zealand is going to keep their current flag design.
So after all those millions of dollars and debate and controversies and contests and votes and everything, status quo.
Yeah, well, that's because they picked a terrible flag. The competitor was just awful.
I've said it once and I'll say it again. They had one job. Get that black flag with a fern on it. Make that your flag. Job done. Yeah. And somehow, I don't know what happened.
What this really is in my mind is a vote for New Zealand accepting their always being confused with Australia. Like, New Zealanders, you can't complain about that anymore. The will of the people in New Zealand have spoken, but boy, is it a real shame. Shall I predict this is the most disappointing election in 2016? I think so.